Welcome everyone. Today, we are going to look at the invisible backbone of the internet. The protocols that allow us to browse websites every day. We will explore the evolution of web access, specifically focusing on the transition from the traditional HTTP to the modern, secure HTTPS. This isn't just a technical change. It's a fundamental shift in how we protect privacy and build trust in a digital world. What is HTTP? We start with HTTP, which stands for Hypertext Transfer Protocol. Think of this as the original messenger of the web. It is an application-level protocol that facilitates communication between your browser and a web server. However, it is stateless, meaning it treats every request as a brand new interaction without remembering what happened before. Traditionally, it operates on port 80, but its most critical flaw is that it lacks built-in security. Some of the common HTTP methods. To understand how we interact with the web, we must look at HTTP methods. When you visit a site, your browser usually sends a GET request to fetch data. If you fill out a contact form or upload a photo, you are using a POST request to send data to the server. Finally, the delete method is used when a resource needs to be removed. These are the basic verbs of the Internet's language. Key HTTP status codes. Whenever a request is made, the server responds with a status code. A 200 OK is what we always want to see. It means the request was successful. A 301 moved tells the browser the page has a new home. On the error side, the famous 404 not found occurs when a page doesn't exist, while a 500 internal server error indicates that something has gone wrong on the server's end. These codes help developers and browsers diagnose the health of a connection. The security gap. Now we come to the problem. HTTP sends data in plain text. Imagine sending a postcard through the mail. Anyone who handles that postcard, from your ISP to a hacker on a public Wi-Fi, can read everything written on it. This makes HTTP highly vulnerable to man-in-the-middle attacks, where an attacker can eavesdrop on your passwords, credit card numbers, or private messages. The shift to HTTPS. Because of these vulnerabilities, the industry moved toward HTTPS. This is the same protocol we've discussed, but with a critical S added for secure. This slide marks our transition from an open, vulnerable web to an encrypted, protected one, where privacy is the default setting rather than an afterthought. Introducing HTTPS. HTTPS is essentially HTTP wrapped in a protective layer called SSL or TLS. It provides three main pillars of protection. Encryption, which scrambles data so only the intended recipient can read it. Data integrity, which ensures the message wasn't tampered with during transit. And authentication, which proves the website you are visiting is actually the legitimate site and not a fake phishing version. Global HTTPS adoption trend. If we look at the data over the last decade, the change is staggering. In 2014, only about a third of the web was encrypted. Today, thanks to efforts from companies like Google and Mozilla, nearly 98% of all web traffic is encrypted. HTTPS is no longer an option for high-security sites like banks. It is now the mandatory standard for every blog, shop, and social network on the planet. The TLS Handshake process. How does this security actually start? It begins with a handshake. First, the client sends a hello with its security capabilities. The server responds with its hello and its digital certificate. Finally, they perform a key exchange, to agree on a secret code that only they know. This entire complex process happens in mere milliseconds before the first piece of website data even loads on your screen. Comparison: HTTP versus HTTPS. To summarize the differences, HTTP is unencrypted and uses port 80, while HTTPS is encrypted and uses port 443. Crucially, browsers today will actively punish HTTP sites by displaying a not secure warning in the address bar. On the other hand, HTTPS sites get a padlock icon, which signals to the user that their connection is private and safe. Why it matters today. Beyond just safety, HTTPS is a business requirement. Google uses it as a ranking factor, meaning secure sites show up higher in search results. It is also required for modern web features and for compliance with laws like the GDPR or payment standards like PCI DSS. Ultimately, HTTPS builds user trust. Without that padlock icon, 85% of users will leave a site because they don't feel safe entering their data.